Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with another one of these little boxes taken from, Sony's big boxes. They've been reissuing the big boxes and taking the remastered recordings from the big boxes and stuffing them out in smaller boxes at a decent price. And that's really actually a smart thing to do, I think. They don't want to keep the big boxes in print forever. There are swatches of them that have always deserved release separately. We just talked about, for example, George Sell's Beethoven cycle. And here we have Bruno Walter's Mozart and Haydn recordings. The Mozart being much better than the Haydn. It's actually kind of interesting when you listen to this. It's good having a disc of Haydn in here because, Bruno Walter was a Mozart guy, and he was known for his Mozart, and everybody admired his Mozart, and I admire his Mozart. It's wonderful. And people tend to lump Haydn and Mozart together as, they're the classical people, Haydn and Mozart. And so since Mozart is, the more famous of the two, if you have Mozart, you figure you don't need Haydn. But the truth is, Haydn is a totally separate composer whose music sounds completely different. And when you have someone like Walter doing a Haydn disc at Symphonies 88 and 100, it just doesn't come over as well as his Mozart does, because Haydn needs to be much harder edged and surprising and accented and whatnot, whereas Mozart can be lyrical and warm, and you can play it with like the period people do, with more roughness. You can rough it up a little bit, but still the basic sound of Mozart is sensual and lyrical, whereas Haydn is a whole different kettle of beans. So anyway, it's fun to hear them here for contrast. The Mozart is absolutely wonderful. So let's see what we have here, shall we? These are his stereo recordings, his late stereo recordings. And we have first, this delicious disc of Eine, Kleine, Nachtmusik and Overtures. You have the Impresario, the Così fan tutti, the Marriage of Figaro, the Magic Flute, and a wonderful performance of the Masonic funeral music. It's a terrific disc. It was always one of the great Mozart recordings, and it still is. And then we have Symphonies 41 and 35, okay? And incidentally, the Columbia Symphony for these recordings only numbered around 40 players. He did not do it with the full massive symphony orchestra. People talk about so frequently how, Mozart in those days was, always done by, giant orchestras, and it was ridiculous. No, it was not. I mean, part of the reason it was not was, of course, financial, which is the same reason it wasn't done that way back in Mozart's day. If Mozart could have had 90 players, he would have loved to have 90 players. But the finances dictated it, and so they did with the Columbia Symphony and these Mozart recordings. And Walter was quite happy using reduced forces. At really 7 first, 7 second violins, not huge forces at all. And so there's no lack of clarity in these performances. The balances are the ones that Walter chose. It's what he wanted for his Mozart. So let's keep that in mind. It's an important point, well worth making, I think, because of the myth that modern Mozart was always sort of bloated and lazy and sluggish. It's nonsense. Then we've got, 36 and 39, the Linns. Now, there is a wonderful rehearsal sequence of him doing the Linz symphonies, which is not rehearsing the Linz symphony, which is not included here. Just so that you know. They don't have all of the stuff that they came in the box. It's like a special super duper bonus. I'm just making sure here. Because I didn't find it on the disc, but who knows, maybe I skipped a track. No, it's not here. It's absolutely not here. Then we've got 38 and 40, the Prague, and the 40 in G minor. And, Walter's very interesting when it came to the G minor. He waited till he was something like 50 years old to conduct it and record it in any case. I don't know if he conducted it earlier, but he approached this music with extraordinary reverence and seriousness. And it seems very different from what we have today, where people just sort of toss it off. It's like, oh yeah, Mozart, what the hell? Let's do more. We can do all the symphonies in 2 days. Here, watch, boom, there it goes. No. This was a major undertaking for him. It really was. And CD5, there are 6 CDs here? 6 or 7? No, 6. You get the violin concertos 3 and 5, 3 and 4, pardon me, with Zeno Francescatti. They are beautiful performances. Number 3, of course, is one of my guilty pleasures that I collect endlessly because of the incredible slow movement that's just so beautiful. You want to die. And here's that. These are all original jackets. These are nicely done. And they're reasonably priced. You get a booklet. Sort of mid-price, basically. And that strikes me as about right. That's about where it should be. It's quite affordable. The performances are wonderful. The remastering is the best. I mean, this is the way it ought to be done. Instead of their previous budget things, which had like no notes and they just slammed it in there and whatever happened and you didn't know what you were getting. Much, much better. And then finally on CD6, we have this Haydn 88 and 100, which, is of its type, let's just say. But great Haydn? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. Still, it's very nice to see that this has been extracted from the Bruno Walter box, the big box, because it's really important. These are important Mozart recordings, and musically they are as of their kind, as good as it's going to get. They really are. They're just beautiful. And so they have personality and character, and they're just lovely. So welcome back, Bruno Walter's Mozart. Keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.